one and all, to another premium spirits review. I am the devilishly handsome outlaw himself, your king of extreme, Phil K.O.E., joined by my indomitable broadcast partner in inebriation,
Tony fucking G. Like, share, subscribe for all your premium spirits review. KOE Nation, folks. Big Buckin' Entertainment, Facebook. This is going to be an interesting one.
This is a Speyside single malt scotch that has been aged in a Cabernet Sauvignon cask. So that is interesting. It's a single malt scotch. It's a Speyside, aged in a cab barrel. Oh, I got it.
Oh, well, goodness.
I was just setting it down for a moment, but there we go.
This is one I've actually been intrigued by. This is a brand that I'm not familiar with. I know our counterpart at the Dog and Chicken Show, Chicken, is familiar with the Glen Moray line, at least the introductory bottle. So I have been anxious to try one of those installments, but this is a unique one. What can you tell us about this?
A sweet and full-bodied Glen Moray, double matured using the rare combination of American ex-bourbon oak and European red wine casks. So,
well, that all just sounds stuff like you'll hate. I'll just take that off your hands now.
Yeah. This is gonna be. I love red wines. I love Cabernet Sauvignon.
I have a feeling you're gonna enjoy this a little bit.
I even love
much.
the unsung hero of European red wines, Dornfelder. I even love that, and there's a lot of wine snobs that don't. But before I even brought it to my nose, I could smell the wine.
No age statement on this. It's just a Cabernet Cask finish.
It just smells red.
Speyside single malt Scotch whiskey from
like
Glen Moray.
It comes up to your nose, just your brain thinks the color red.
All right, let's just do this. Oh, wow. You're right. Oh, goodness.
Just everything like cherries, wine, red apple skins, just everything you can... Everything that your brain would associate with red is right in here.
Not sour in a bad way, but sour fruit in a great way.
Sour apples.
Yep. Oh, no, that's very nice. That's a very nice aroma.
Interesting compliment to a Speyside.
Yeah, I know. I really like the nose on this.
Normally they're very honeyed, very sweet.
And this is a fairly inexpensive brand, am I correct?
Yeah, I think this one cost me under $40.
There you go.
So,
oh, very nice nose. Oh, yeah.
It's definitely different from a sherried malt.
Yes.
You get the fruit, but it's just different.
It's a lot more blatant. It's up front. No, yeah, that doesn't lie a bit about where it comes from. It's very... It's a good flavor. Don't get me wrong, but there's nothing hidden here. It's right up front, in your face.
It's wine.
It is. And in a good way. In a good way. In terms of drinking scotch.
So, boy, this is unexpected because the flavors are... It's fruity, it's tart, but like you said, it's just that wine.
It's right there.
It's kind of like when we did the Jameson IPA Caskmates. You could just taste the beer. It was just right there.
Yep.
And it's the same with this. The wine is just right there. You can just taste the red cab. And I love it. I've got no problem with that at all.
Fair enough.
I could see myself seeking out another bottle of this after this one's gone. Okay. That's how much I'm enjoying this. So,
I think it's subtle enough to the point of somebody who would wander into a scotch that they wouldn't be overly offended at the fact that this is not a traditional scotch flavor, but it's unique enough that they would go, okay, I would recommend that to somebody.
What I would use this for is a seasoned scotch drinker.
Okay.
and they're coming to my house, like, I wouldn't tell them what this is. I'd pour them a dram and just, here, tell me what you think of this. See if they can, kind of like what I did with you with the the mystery spirit, where I asked you to pick out cask maturation. So I would do the same with this.
I get that. Okay.
This would be an excellent for a blind line.
Yeah, I could see somebody not fully appreciating the complexity of this if they were more seasoned on the higher end scotches. But
yes,
if you did not tell them what brand this came from, they would definitely appreciate this.
Yeah,
this is very nice.
This would score amazingly high in blind taste tests.
I think you're right.
So,
definitely.
We're going to score this one on 4 different metrics. Single malt scotch, scotch, brown spirits, and shelving. So, as a single malt scotch, how does this one measure up? As a lover of the Speysides as well. So, this is way more up your alley than it is mine, sir.
Regardless, we're not talking Speysides, we're talking single malt, so...
Well, no, as a lover of Speysides, this is what people from the K.O.E. Nation come for. As a Speyside, just amongst its fellow Speysides, how do you grade it?
3 1/4.
Okay.
I do like it. I think the uniqueness of the flavor is...
It's oily.
It's very oily. It allows it to set amongst itself, not grouped in with others, but you've almost got to be in a mood for this.
Yes.
And this isn't one that you're going to be like, okay, I had a bit of this one, and I'm going to have a bit of this one. Next, I'm going to have a bit of this one. No, this is one you would kind of dial in on, and you would just kind of drink this one the whole night. And I could see this being a serious conversation scotch where you introduce this to one other person and say, this is what we're going to have tonight. We're just going to kind of go back and forth. We can discuss this scotch and we can discuss things amongst the world. But this is a very specific one. I don't see this being a, let's just sample everything type scotch.
You know what I would open this for? Next time a thunderstorm rolls through, turn off all the lights.
There you go.
Just open up the front door, step out my front porch, and just drink a dram of it as you watch the storm pass. Is that not...
No, that's absolutely perfect, but
yes,
those of us not in the Midwest might not fully appreciate how wonderful that would be.
Yeah, storm watching is fun.
Yeah,
but,
that's...
But yes,
yep,
if you have a rainstorm coming through, a dram of this would be marvelous. So now, bringing it into the official rankings.
Okay.
Single malt scotch.
As a single malt scotch, I'm afraid I'm going to have to dip a little bit and say 3. I can understand why this is maybe not as well respected amongst the brand names. Because, don't get me wrong, there's some complexities there, but the flavor does dissipate quicker than others in the same range.
You know, I'll give you that. I feel like when the flavors are leaving, the wine is the last thing that's there.
There you go.
And, now, I'm a lover of wine, and so I was making a joke with Tony earlier today that wine lovers make the shittiest whiskey drinking buddies because they're... their tastes and their nose and are so particular that it can be sometimes hard to crack that.
Sure.
Cookie. But this is what I do enjoy. But
no, it's very, very nice.
As a single malt, though, I'm going to disagree with you just a little bit and give it 3.5. This is actually pretty good. I can't give it any higher because it is aged in a wine barrel, which is not exactly traditional Scotch whiskey technique. I mean, I'm sorry.
You're fair.
I've docked points for that before. I got to dock it here.
Okay.
Now, as a Scotch, introducing someone to Scotch or just comparing it to all the single malts, single grains, and blended Scotches, How do you grade this one on a 5-star scale, sir? I know.
3 1/4.
3 1/4 as a Scotch. Boy.
Yep.
Hard cookie to crack. As a single malt, I'm going to disagree with you on that one, and I'm going to give this one 3.75. I think this is actually a good Scotch that stacks up, and its cask maturation is what kicks it up a little bit.
Okay.
That and maybe it's just because I'm a wine lover.
Sure.
Might have a little to do with it that I love wine. But yes, it's a Speyside. It's a single malt Scotch. Cabernet Sauvignon aged. Oh, God. And if it's French Bordeaux casks, they should have advertised that. But, well. Moving on. Brown spirits. The infamously hard to please Tony G in brown spirits. Be true to thine own self. Be true, Tony.
Oh, this one is tough. Because I like the smell a lot. It's not overbearing in any way. It's sweet. It's got the wine. It drops off fairly quickly, so you really have to dive deep if you want to get a good whiff. But the taste...
Marvelous.
Very nice taste. It's initially very soft. Get a slightly grating taste in a very, very nice way with the wine. And then it subsides very, very quickly, and it mellows on the back of the throat. It's not overbearing at all. 3.25.
3.25.
Yep.
As a brown spirit.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Huh. So it doesn't break your 3.5 barrier.
No.
But it's still an interesting bottle.
I could definitely see myself, and I hate to say this, but that's a cooking Scotch. That's a mixing Scotch. I would not put this on the rocks. I would not. I think for me, and we usually do this the way we are doing it right now, neat, right out of the bottle.
Yeah, that's how I'm going to say.
That's
90% of that will be consumed like that.
And I think that's kind of how it has to be, because if you put this on rocks, I get the sense that would ruin it.
Now, I can't recall them right now, but there are a few specific cocktails that call for Scotch in particular. I would experiment with this first. Because it's sweet, it's a bit oily, it's got a wine finish, it's not going to be overly medicinal or smoky. It's going to be one that I would use for it if I came across some cocktail. Hey, it calls for Scotch whiskey. I feel like drinking that tonight. This would be the first one I'd go for. But yes, Thunderstorm whiskey. That's what I'd use this for.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, so, yeah, I'd do some cooking with it, but yeah, like I said, over 90% of this will be consumed in this fashion, probably specifically in a Glencairn glass. So, shelving, Tony G. Top, middle, or bottom shelf?
This is a nice middle shelf Scotch.
Yes, I'm going to agree. It is definitively a middle shelf. It's not top shelf. No. It's not bottom shelf.
No.
It is definitively middle shelf. And again, it's there in the middle for a bit easier reaching. So if the thunderstorm comes and it cuts my power, easier reaching. So Glen Moray, all you folks at that particular distillery, yes, thank you. Thank you. We appreciate the incredible craftsmanship you put into the product. And like I said, this is one of those scotches that it's just so ubiquitous that people don't think of it as something special.
Sure.
But this is one that if you were to put it in a blind taste test, I think this one in particular would score a little.
I think you're right.
This one would hit way above its weight class.
I think you're right. This would set a bit apart from the others. If you were going to sit around a circle and enjoy a blind bottle of scotch with no interpretations going in,
Oh, yeah.
or no expectations, and just said, hey, here are a bunch of drams, everybody have a glass, enjoy this, let me know what you think. People would probably expect this to be a much higher anticipated high dollar amount scotch. I think this would step up a bit more from their expectations.
That would be a great use for it, and because this would be a scotch that the scotch snobs, they would really dive into and try to figure out. And the beginners and the folks who really aren't that into it can still find something to enjoy out of it.
Well, there you go. I think this is one of those brands, and this is one of those bottles that would actually bring all those different groups together. And there's really no better testament to a review than one that appeals to all different groups of whiskey drinkers.
Yeah, and I feel we needed to put that last little caveat on the end, because normally our scores really reflect a whiskey, but I think our scores might have been a little unfair to how different this is.
It is. It's very unique.
So I would definitely recommend adding this to a whiskey collection, just because it's so interesting. It's really hard to find Cabernet Sauvignon aged barrels, or aged whiskeys, that is. So I would definitely recommend this, but, well, Tony, as I'm known to say around here, all that being said, this has been our review of Glen Moray Speyside Single Malt Scotch Cabernet Sauvignon Cask Finished. Oh my goodness, so amazing. Folks, I am the devilishly handsome outlaw himself, your King of Extreme, Phil K.O.E., signing off and handing it off to my indomitable broadcast partner in inebriation,
Tony fucking G. Like, share, subscribe. Stay tuned. Way more to come.